evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the National Stadium at BT Reserve for round 7 of the New Balance Dockerty Cup between Preston Lions and Caroline Springs George Cross. Of course, we'd like to extend a very warm welcome to all the visiting players, officials, and supporters from Caroline Springs this evening, and wish them well for the remainder of their season and onward. It's great to see another fantastic crowd building up as always. We hope that everyone enjoys all the football action coming your way. We encourage you to be colourful, be loud, and passionate. Let's all make it an electrifying atmosphere, but please also remember to be respectful and represent yourselves and your club in the right way. Be reminded, folks, the main pavilion is open exclusively for our Preston's club sponsors, pavilion club members, and life members, both pre-game and during the game. And the pavilion will then be open for everybody after the game, so we invite you to come inside for a drink after the final whistle. Also a reminder that all spectators in attendance are required to abide by the Football Victoria Code of Conduct and Behavioural Regulation to ensure that we all enjoy the game in a safe and responsible manner. Crowd behaviour will be monitored by our ground marshals, security personnel and Victoria Police who will be roaming the venue throughout the evening. So any poor language, abusive or antisocial behaviour, whether that be towards other spectators, players, officials or referees, will strictly not be tolerated, and patrons will be evicted if required. If you do witness any antisocial behaviour, we encourage you to report it anonymously via text message to 0493 334 810. For everyone's benefit, that number will also be scrolling on the bottom of the scoreboard throughout the game. There will be no jumping onto the ground at any time during or after the game by spectators, and the lighting of players or throwing of any other projectiles is strictly prohibited. And any offenders caught will be resulting in your immediate eviction from the venue with a long-term ban by the club. There is strictly no smoking or vaping inside or around the grandstand and pavilion areas. For those standing in the grandstand, please ensure that you do not stand in any of the aisles or walkways, otherwise you'll be asked to move on by our marshals and security personnel. Our bar and taking staff will ensure that alcohol is served responsibly. Also, please remember to put your rubbish in the bin to the water. There are plenty of bins located around the ground, so please make sure to dispose of your food and drinks appropriately throughout the day. It makes it a whole lot easier for our club volunteers when cleaning up after the game. Also remember, you can check out our new apparel and sporting gear, which is available from the merchandise team. Together with our team merchandise partner Umbro, we've got a great selection of personal gear available, ranging from player jerseys, polo shirts, jackets, wind cheaters, t-shirts, hats, beanies, scarves, badges. There is other costs available at the merchandise box, so make sure you head on over and pick up something for yourself. Enjoy your Preston gear with pride. Your line today, Preston, in goal, number 1, Ryan Scott. Number 4, Jamal Ali. About war or something. 9,
History beckons in round 7 of the Dockerty Cup. Preston Lions find their way back to the top 5 but have never made the national stage of the Australian Cup. One being progressing to welcome to Dennisfield Stadium. Was the blockbuster cup tie midweek. On a cold night, these teams will be celebrating long into it. Preston Lions with a number of changes from the side that went down 1-0 against Oakley Cannons. 5 in total. In comes Zach Cianci, Gian Albano and Jason Romero from the bench. And returning from injury, Aidan Bryce back early from his MCL tear he suffered against Avondale. Into the starting lineup comes Daniel Lazarevsky, son of a gun who played here once, Nick. But he came after the window closed from Western United, the former Melbourne Victory junior. And so he's ineligible to play in league fixtures, but can play in the Cup. Preston looking for an answer up top. And the man languishing in their under-23s might prove to be the answer. Tom Foligno, Leighton Brooks, Jonas Markovski and Stefan Zinni dropped to the bench, retaining their places. Ryan Scott, Stefan Negro, Jamal Ali, Elijah Atakubi, Oliver Kubale and Sian Cuba. Matt Bozanovsky is out with injury. Caroline Springs, George Cross, they are unchanged after a scoreless draw with Bentley Greens on the weekend. Christian Siciliano between the sticks, a back four of Justin Spiteri, Michael Tsitsides, Morgan Filer and Ross Vasiliadis. Tyler James and Nick Dibb, the former Preston man in midfield. On the wings, Aidan Mustadanagic and Leo Marzi. Luke Lofts, who has 5 goals in his 5 appearances against Preston, stretching back to his time with FC Bulleen Lions, plays in the number 10 role behind Aguirre Manuel. No spot for Emmanuel Prifty, Jonathan Alevris or Lucas Burns on the Georgies bench. Josh Whiteley, Maker and Ottman Benadou retain their places. In comes Alexandros Rechanovsky, Callum Pickford and Daniel Cutler. We're just about ready for kick-off here. Preston in the red, Georgies in the white. A high-stakes game. Two sides desperate for a taste of the national spotlight. And we're away. Georgies to kick us off. Morgan Filer to send the long diagonal. Mark Ivkovic, who were here just a few days ago, watching a fairly listless Preston performance. Do we see a response tonight?
You'd like to think so. If you're a Preston Lions supporter, you definitely want to see a much improved performance, especially going forward. They've been lifeless in the last 2 league games, but Lazarevsky coming into the lineup is an interesting move. He's scored 6 goals in the under-23s, and he scored in 2 cup games already for Preston so far on their way to this round 7 fixture. But they're going to come up against a very defensively solid George Cross team. We've seen them be so organised since they've come up into the top flight this season, and it's a big game for Preston, but it's a big game for George Cross as well. So both teams eager to make the national rounds. But massive risk by Preston to bring Aidan Bryce into the lineup. Hasn't played for 8 weeks, and straight into the lineup is such a big game.
Well, Zoran Markovski's hand was forced. The only alternative would have been 19-year-old Ethan Pandov, who did come off the bench against Oakley in such a high-pressure fixture. Preston have decided to roll the dice. Aidan Bryce has come back from injury struggles early before. Seems to be capable of it. Did it for Avondale last season.
Yeah, and it was in a round 7 Australia Cup qualifying game where he played 120 minutes in their win against Dandenong Thunder last year. So the irony of him playing again in that same type of fixture back from injury. But he is tough as nails, Aiden Bryce. You know, he'll push through this game. Interesting that Jamal Ali's gone to a fullback position tonight. We've seen him playing as a centre-back for the majority of the season.
Late tackle on Negro.
Some heavy challenges early in this game, probably a reflection of how wet that pitch is out there.
Jamal Ali galloping forward from right back. Has more attacking freedom today in that role. He played last season for Heidelberg, scoring 8 goals in the league campaign.
It's probably one of the main reasons why he's playing in that position tonight. Probably just to create that overload in the middle of the park as well. That's where Preston's been a bit disjointed the last few weeks, you know, in trying to progress the ball forward. Just very disjointed from the midfield to attack. So to get an extra number in there through Jamal Ali might help them be a little bit more compact and connected going forward.
Albano. Lazarevsky. Fowler paying close attention to Preston striker. Back with Bryce. Atakubi. Ali slides it in behind, looking for Zach Chianchi. Preston will settle for a throw. Jamal Ali has started with vigour and enthusiasm in this one. Looking to force the issue early. Clash of bodies, play goes on with Chianchi. It's a second bite at the cross and claims a corner.
He's got a point to prove tonight, Jamal Ali, doesn't he? I'm sure he's probably frustrated playing as a centre-back this season when he had so much success last season as a fullback. So probably just give Zoran Markowski a little reminder of what he can offer in that position, which he probably enjoys playing in that role more.
Well, there's real injury concern here. Jamal Ali was quite insistent that the physio come onto the pitch.
Looked like a knee clash there. It wasn't a challenge on him.
It is Lazarevsky who's pulled up lame from that one.
Looked like knee on knee when he's gone to challenge for the ball. Might have just jarred something there.
It would be a sickener to lose him this early.
Yeah, it's not moving around too well.
Preston take the corner into the danger zone, and it just flashes above the head of Atakubi and Ali. Negro with an unsure touch, but a much surer pass back to Scott. Preston still down to 10 as Lazarevsky tries to shake that one off. Chianchi darting in field. Negro. Preston making some headway down the left. Albano straight into Spiteri and behind for another corner. With the words of their head coach still ringing in their ears, Preston Lions have come out pace and intensity to start this game. The Georgies are one of the premier teams in the competition at soaking up pressure. Certainly they were in the opening rounds of the season. Cuba, bodies hitting the floor. Comfortable claim for Siciliano.
Poor delivery in the end from Cuba. Very easy for Siciliano to come out and claim that. Still no sign of Daniel Lazarevsky.
Bryce. Scott taking no chances. Filer unopposed. Atakubi hooks it away. Now Tsatsides. Bit of head tennis back and forth. Albano. Tsatsides sliding in. Ball ends up back with Kubalate. Bad back pass, but Preston have been bailed out by the whistle.
Very, very fortunate there. It's twice now they've played a risky ball back across the face, bringing a lot of unnecessary pressure to those situations.
Again, Manuel thought he was away. Still would have had 2 defenders to beat. It's the sort of situation he thrives in, though. Turned over by Kubalate. Lofts. Gets a second bite at this. Oh, a lovely flick over the top. Marzi ends up with it, a scuffed cross. And Lazarevsky back on the park for Preston, and maybe just in time as Jason Romero breaks from deep. Sends Chianchi wide. 2 wide in the end. A chance missed for Preston there.
I'm not sure how much longer Lazarevsky is going to be on the pitch, Josh. He is just hobbling around out there. I'm sure he's trying to force the issue. It's a massive opportunity for him, but it's not looking promising for him.
Chianchi. Ali didn't get clean connection on the pass. Manuel takes over. Now Dib. Mustadanagic. Manuel running the channels. Would turn a pace, but Aiden Bryce used his body and his experience. Tsatsides winning the duel.
Take a lot of confidence out of that, Aiden Bryce. Winning that duel and then crisp pass forward. We just settle those little doubts that he's probably got in the back of his head.
Sounds like George Cross had come out with a game plan to rough up Preston's young striker who hasn't played that much senior football this season.
And the 2 monsters at the back for George Cross, aren't they? Tsatsides and Morgan Filer.
Negro. Romero spinning and pulled back and looking for the whistle. Morgan Filer is penalised.
Probably a smart foul by Morgan Filer, way out of where he should be on the pitch.
Doesn't seem as if the Georgie centre-backs are zoning off very much. They just stick to their man and trust that another defender's going to cover for them.
Yeah, that's a George Cross play, really, man on man.
Atakubi's delivery this time. Cuba's in there. Comes out to Bryce. And trickles through to the goalkeeper. No touch on Roots. Giuliano with the long punt wide. Albano couldn't pick out his teammates' feet. With Ali running into traffic again.
It was done, Lazarevsky.
Well, he tried to play through it, but he's in too much pain to continue. And Preston will be forced into an early change. Just what they didn't need.
Just a massive opportunity for the youngster. He's had joy in these cup games for Preston, and we've spoken about the lack of chances they've been creating the past couple of weeks. So Markovsky tried something different. It's very unfortunate.
One son of a gun off, one on. Jonas Markovsky stripped off and ready to go. Be heavy minutes for him to fulfill after returning on Sunday.
Yeah, I imagine they were trying to manage his minutes tonight. Definitely wouldn't have expected him to come on after 10 or so minutes. It's going to be a big ask for Jonas Markowski to see out the entirety of the game.
The revolving door of injuries at Preston continues. And despondent Daniel Lazarevsky takes his seat on the bench with a pronounced limp. Forward from Vasiliadis. Throwing right in front of the Preston dugout. George Cross last made it this far in the Cup in 2024, which ended with a 4-0 defeat to Hume City. That was back when they were still in VPL 1, as they were last season. Basically been on the same trajectory as Preston, just a year behind when it comes to the successive promotions, COVID years accepted.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, Josh. It's fitting that they're playing against each other tonight for a spot in the national rounds of the Australia Cup.
Shared recent history, full stop. The first games played by Preston's precursor club back in 1948 was against George Cross, and George Cross still have a match ball from that game cast in perspex. It was rolled out for the Preston 75th anniversary celebrations a few years ago.
Hope it wasn't literally rolled out.
Carried out in an elaborate procession. Cross taking a few liberties with the location of the throw. Preston win it back anyway. Cuba. There's Ali in support. Well done by Ali. Didn't have much of a gap to put that pass through. Gets the return from Chianchi. Tsitsides coming across to cover. Ali throws the step over and works his way in field. Negro. Albano was screaming for it. He'll get it now. Albano lines up his sights to curl one. Took a touch on the way through. Another Preston corner.
Tell you what, does George Cross take a lot of risks when they're defending? Tsitsides in that first instance coming across out of position, and then Morgan Filer just rushing out to try and close that gap, but it leaves so much space in that central corridor for Preston to expose. They continue to do that. It's been a couple of times now.
It's been the defining feature of the game so far, the aggressive front foot defending of Tsitsides and Filer. Decent delivery this time, but he finds a white shirt. Albano hooks it back to the back post for Chianchi. Can they get a shot away? They can! And wouldn't you know it, it's an instant impact for the substitute, Jonas Markowski. Preston lead in round 7. It was a scrappy goal, but they won't care one bit.
A scrappy goal would be an understatement, Josh. That is horrible defending by George Cross. The fact that Jonas Markowski was able to bring that ball down, still have time to turn and then find the back of the net. And we spoke about how aggressive they've been defensively in the opening 10 or so minutes, but where you need to be aggressive in that 6-yard box, just nowhere to be seen. Just ball watching, allowing Markowski all that space and time.
He wasn't supposed to start. He wasn't supposed to come on until the second half at least. But it's an early opener for Jonas Markowski. It's his second goal in all competitions this season. And what an important one it could prove to be.
Well, that's the start that Preston needed, considering the past few weeks. Needed to really get on the front foot and score early.
May have been a morass of bodies in the box there, but some impressive juggling skills from Jonas.
Yeah, that can't happen in the 6-yard area, Josh.
Helped on by Tsitsides. Ryan Scott trying to restart things in a hurry. It's out to Albano. Spiteri motoring back.
They haven't really settled so far. George Cross really struggling to keep a hold of the ball at the moment.
Chianchi spots a gap and motors through it and picks out Cuba. Preston flowing forwards. Cuba to the back post. Albano, can he keep it alive? No. Maybe Preston's best move of the game.
Maybe it's one of Preston's best moves for a number of weeks, Josh. That's the kind of football that Zoran Markovski would be expecting from his players. Aggressive, forward-playing football.
It's just brilliant from Chianchi. The little body feint to send the defender wide. And then turning on the accelerator, as we know he can do. Chianchi into space again. He's having all sorts of joy down the right now. Tsitsides heads behind for another Preston corner.
You can see there's a clear game plan from Preston tonight just to play forward passes. Don't second guess yourself and just get it forward, put it into dangerous areas. And they look a lot more threatening going forward tonight than they have in previous weeks, Preston.
Sian Cuba with 2 arms raised. Back post delivery. Ali arriving late. Miscued volley from Albano. And the danger is cleared for now. Harakubi. Chianchi, first time down the line for Cuba. Having to evade the assistant referee. And the ball had trickled out of play.
You see what Jamal Ali, his intelligence. And most fullbacks in that scenario would have just stayed on the touchline and would have been really congested. He's tucked into the middle of the pitch, brought his winger across with him and allowed a lot of space for Chianchi to work with.
Preston not further sanctioned for that.
Finding a lot of joy on this right-hand side tonight, Chianchi. A bit of frustration from Vasiliadis there just to pull him back. Can't keep up with him at the moment.
Worthy of a booking in your eyes?
I think so. He was away there, Chianchi.
Harakubi. Oh, he goes for goal. Well, that was adventurous from the Canadian.
Somehow I don't think that was intentional there, Josh.
Adventurous or accidental. Maybe misadventurous. Albano. Little slip from Romero and he can't get there ahead of Tyler James. Tsitsides under all sorts of pressure. He's done well though. Maniel. Picked off by Ali. Cuba on the spin. Oh, and you could see what he was aiming for. It wasn't a dig at goal.
Well, if he lifted his head up, it'd probably been worth a shout. Siciliano was miles off his line then.
I think he was trying to drive it towards Albano at the back stick. Maybe not. Lofts. I knew it wasn't back to his feet quick enough to get onto that. See how technically sharp Luke Lofts is when he can find a pocket of space. Maybe a different pace to adjust to from VPL 1 football, where he starred consistently so.
That was Michael Tsitsides that just won that challenge. It doesn't need to be winning the ball there. It's such a high-risk move. If he doesn't win that ball, they're so exposed at the back George cross. That's a job for one of the central midfielders to be doing that work.
Ali. Picks out Cuba. Good rotation off the throw from Preston that time. Markovski gets it back from Shianchi. Trying to step in field, but Tyler James read him like an open book. Marzi. Body contact between him and Ali. And now Leo Marzi's in trouble. Bryce. Great ball to find Cuba. Markovski, flag stays down. Jonas Markovski tried to take on his man rather than slip it wide to Gianchi. In hindsight, which is always 20/20, the wrong decision.
And that's the difference with Aidan Bryce playing in your side. A centre-back that's able to play a pass like that, break the lines. Doesn't seem like much when you're watching the game, but it makes the world of difference the way you can attack. Most times that goes to the next centre-back and then comes out wide and your opponent's all set up. Aidan Bryce has, one, the courage and two, the ability to just play those passes in between those lines and allows his team to just attack with purpose.
He was zipped in at a rate of knots as well. Sion Cuba penalised for handball there, by the way. Flagged by an eagle-eyed assistant referee on the near side. Lofts cops one in the face. Ali, the referee will have to stop play for a head injury.
It's been a good start by Preston, Josh. Really high energy, aggressive. George Cross is probably a little bit rattled in this first 15 minutes. Just can't get a grip of things at the moment, constantly under pressure defensively.
Bloodied nose for Luke Lofts after the Falcon to the face. And we'll restart with a Preston drop ball. Referee's hands were tied. At a Cuba. Probably smart for Lofts to go down there for a little while and just give them a beat or two to reset.
That's what the plan of attack was there.
Kubele. Chianchi. Outpaces Vasiliadis. Tyler James is there. Knock it into touch. Romero. Despite their rise through the divisions, Preston, they've never really made a good shake of the cup. Furthest they've come is round 6, that famous game against South Melbourne in 2024, which ended with Preston with 10 men on the park and South running out 5-2 winners in a pulsating game. It's less glamorous defeats. They've included Whittlesea last year, Bo Morris back in 2022, a 4-3 loss away from home.
I think the loss last year to Whittlesea was the one that probably hurt the most. That's when they were probably the most prepared to make a run of it. Obviously, a club of Preston's stature is desperate to make this Australian Cup round of 32.
It was round 5 last year. 3-2 in extra time they went down. The winner from Attila Offley.
It's a blast from the past.
Kubi's header falls short. Marzi steps in field. Good block by Kubalay. Ricochet favours Leo Marzi. There's no one in a Georgie shirt attacking that.
There's a great ball into the area as well by Marzi's.
Even without an opponent, Steph Negro probably couldn't let that run, just in case it nestled in the far corner. Preston work it out of danger. He's went from Chianchi. Markowski feeds it wide again. Here's what Aiden Bryce thought of that passage of play from Zach Chianchi.
Maybe to just keep running with it out wide, Chianchi. Had the pace to beat Vasiliadis out wide.
Once the momentum dies in the move, got to move the ball quicker. Where's the point being made by the Preston centre half? It's been a high tempo start, and one that Preston needed after a pretty tepid display against Oakley and an even worse outing against Altona Magic the week before. Romero picking out Cuba. This could be 2, but for Tsitsides, who puts his body bravely on the line and makes the block.
It's great defending from Tsitsides.
That's a situation where you want your centre-backs to be so aggressive.
Spot on. That's exactly what I was thinking when he's come rushing out to make that challenge. That's the area that you need to make those aggressive tackles.
Vasiliadis didn't take any chances. He knocks it long. And Kubi judged it well in the air. Kubalay's header does work out for Preston. Price for Romero now. Carrying the ball wide. Kubalay lifts it over the top. Negro. Oh, lovely footwork from Stefan Negro. And again, Negro to whip it in. Ali's head up. And Vasiliadis away. And Stefan Negro turning back the clock. Do I dare mention the time he nutmegged Thomas Broich twice on debut? That was mermaid in a phone box stuff from Stefan Negro.
Never heard that analogy before.
That may be a mixed metaphor.
They're really scrambling at the moment, George Cross. It's just clear lines and then the ball just keeps coming back to them. Really need someone to just put their foot on it and settle things.
Markowski. Ali. Back to Jonas Markowski. Slipping it wide to Cuba. Well, the combination play from Preston has been a lot sharper than on Sunday. They're continually forcing George Cross into last-minute defensive interventions. Preston fans have found their voice in the grandstands. Given corner, Romero from a long, long way out. Would have been an absolute bullet to trouble Siciliano from there.
The benefit for George Cross is we've seen him start poorly in several games this season, but they managed to just hang in there and then slowly work themselves into a game. And just when you think that they're going to get annihilated in a game, they manage to hold on and then find a way to score and get themselves back into it.
Siciliano with the long bomb. George Cross can hardly get out of their own half at the moment.
They're really struggling in the midfield, Josh, especially these second balls. They haven't won one of them so far tonight. They need a bit more aggression in the middle of the park to try and win that ball back.
And that's why the central defenders were running so far up the pitch. It's excellent work from Cuba. And now Ali has space to attack and slides it through. Markovsky with a chip. Oh, it would have been gorgeous.
It's a wrong choice by Jonas Markovsky there. Needed to put his laces through it. Either at the near post or at the far post. If you put his foot through it, you'd expect that to find the back of the net.
He's not sure he had the time to wind up for a shot like that.
And that's where the Ronaldo R9 toe poke comes in handy, Josh. Most underutilised manoeuvre in football.
Sorry, a few of these players have to take a trip down to Futsal Oz, pick up a few pointers.
The old school term, the toe bash. It's about 4 times Siciliano's turned the ball over now with his kicks as well. It's probably the right decision for George Cross to try and play out from their goal kicks at the moment.
Cuba. Ali. Negro shifts it wide. Albano. Back to Negro. Morgan Filer coming across. Pretty unceremonious foul from John Albano. George Cross assessing the damage after a pretty difficult first half for them, but only 1 goal down. They are still in this game. They weathered a storm last time they came here in round 5, coming away with a point after a Christian Siciliano masterclass. Not a masterclass of Preston finishing that night, though.
There's a number of chances that Preston squandered in that game. And really only allowed George Cross into that game through an error from Adam Bryce.
Yeah, goal kick routine that went awry. Marzi has been the source of so much of their attacking inspiration this season. Not that time. The referee was wearing white instead of yellow, I think. Albano. Going at Spiteri. Albano with the early ball. And well defended by Morgan Filer.
That's better from Albano. Obviously a player that's very low on confidence at the moment. Hasn't really found his feet at Preston since he came across last season.
One moment that will live forever, though. Romero. Space for Negro to cross now. Under hits it. Chianchi. One back well by Nick Dibb, who finds Manuel. And out to Marzi. Doesn't have the numbers back. Yeah, Marzi looks like he's moving a little bit gingerly ever since that collision with Jamal Ali earlier in the half. Left up to Cuba. Wow, that was a wrong pass from Sian Cuba. Jonas Markovski was almost in on goal if they'd gone over the top. Mustadanagic. And spread to Cedes and James. Vasiliadis. No one to aim for in the box just yet. He's in such a good crossing position. And there's no one to cross to. Dibb. To Mustadanagic, who has to backtrack too much and flies out for a throw-in. And Albano stumbles and back to his feet. Now Sian Cuba. That's Gianchi wide and couldn't pick him out. Preston haven't been short of openings for a second.
George Cross is struggling with the size of the pitch here at BT Connor Reserve. Just see when they're going forward, there's no one's got the legs to get up there and support Marzi's when he's on the ball, or Lofts. And then when they lose the ball, they don't have the energy to get back in time.
Again, Manuel has been a man marooned on an island up top. Fortuitous ricochet works out for Albano. Romero, clever flick. Markovski, Cuba, Romero! And saved by Siciliano. Albano to whip it in again, and no one can meet it. Well, Preston putting on a clinic.
Romero has to finish that, Josh. He's hit it straight at Siciliano, and that movement comes from what we've been speaking about. Michael Tzidis sucked out to that right fullback position. No one covering that centre corridor of that defence for George Cross. Morgan Fowler on his own, and so much space for Preston to play with there. There's no way if Tzidis is in the right position that Romero waltzes into that area.
I just wonder if Cuba manages to keep his pass on the deck, whether that's a surefire goal.
Possibly. It was a little bit hard for Romero to do it. He just needed to go either side of Siciliano, though.
If he had eyes in the back of his head, he would have seen Zach Chianchi for a square pass and a tap-in, but much easier to see from up here. Sutsides.
They're really all over the place at the moment, George Cross, structurally.
Don't envy the George Cross kit man who has to deal with Michael Sutsides' gear.
Fortunately, they've got black shorts and not white shorts. Look at the space between Sutsides and Fowler. That's a good 30 yards there with James dropping in.
She was held back.
It's probably the most unorganised I've seen George Cross so far this season. So I was speaking to Eric Vasiliadis before the game, and he did mention that there was 4 or 5 players that are struggling with the flu at the moment. So I wonder if that's a bit of a factor with the lack of real work rate at the moment.
Ali, Cuba, Chianchi. Preston playing with a bit of confidence now. Chianchi out to Markovsky. Good support. And he sells out of Kubi short with the pass. Dib. James. It's a good ball from James. Spiteri keeps it in play. Still going, Spiteri. What a run this is. Sends it wide. Mustadanagic couldn't get there. George Cross win their first corner of the night.
Maybe that might give him a bit of confidence going forward, George Cross.
Oh, spectacular solo run from the right back. We're not talking about Jamal Ali.
Just can't work out what their game plan is tonight, George Cross. They're not, trying to sit back and absorb pressure and transition. Because once they won the ball there was no intention to transition going forward.
Luke Lofts perched outside, waiting for a long-range special. Vasiliadis with the in-swinger. Bodies hit the floor. Lofts. Way by Adekubi. Gianchi helps it on for Ali. Filer sliding in. And winning the ball cleanly.
Great challenge by Morgan Filer.
Especially since he was in the box a few seconds beforehand. He's absolutely run full pelt there. Look, he's on his haunches now. Ali. Done by Markovsky, off the chest of Cuba. Chianchi tries to go around the outside. Still going, Zach Chianchi. And away into touch.
It was far too easy for Chianchi to just get around Tyler James there and get the ball into the area.
Cuba. Ali. Cut back towards Romero. Romero looking for space for a shot. Chianchi. 2 minutes up on the fourth officials board to end the half. Kubele wide. Bryce. Kubele. They move it from side to side and find a pocket against this tightly congested Caroline Springs defence. Bryce. Oh, Aiden Bryce still going. Markovsky. Cuba. And Albano to make it two. What a move from Preston. They've dominated this first half and have their rewards. A gallivanting run from the returning Aiden Bryce. John Albano there at the back post to finish it off.
Take a bow, Aiden Bryce. Welcome back. That was all his move there. Had the foresight to carry the ball and drive it forward. And it's like the seas parted there for Preston.
And some ball from Cuba as well.
Yeah, it's a great ball to the back post.
There's about 5 Georgie's defenders in a line there, just all converging on Sian Cuba.
Tidy finish from Albano as well. You can see the difference that Aiden Bryce brings to this Preston lineup. There's not many other centre-backs in the competition that can drive through the middle of the park like he does.
Satsides won the header, but it worked out well for Sion Cuba. Morgan Filer saw his life flash before his eyes as he slid in.
Tell you what, Cuba's done well to stay on his feet, but if he had have just fallen down there, I wouldn't have been surprised to see the referee point to the penalty spot.
That's when you've got to dangle out a lazy left leg.
Yep.
Bryce. Let's see, it's just the flash of panic from Philo. Puigedirian calls the first half to a close. And Preston have 1 foot in the round of 32. A confident first half display. Withstanding the early loss to injury of Daniel Lazarevsky, it was the substitute Jonas Markovski who broke the deadlock with an impressive juggle and a scrappy finish inside a packed 6-yard box in the aftermath of a Preston corner. The second was a flowing move, started by Aiden Bryce, finished by John Albano after a superb Sion Cuba assist. And Preston have been good value for their first half lead, Ivka.
Very good value. It's probably the best 45 minutes of football they've played this season. And George Cross probably their worst 45 minutes of football they've played. They've got a mountain of work to do to get back into this game. Structurally, tactically, just so much work to do. They're all over the place at the moment. I imagine Vasiliadis is not going to be too happy in that change room at half-time. But interesting to see if they can change it around in the second half.
Oh, just the tonic for Preston after their flailing recent form. The half-time score at Genesteel Stadium is Preston Lions 2, Caroline Springs George Cross 0. Welcome back to Jenna Steele Stadium, where George Cross have made a half-time substitution, and it's Michael Soutsides who's come off for Maker at the back. So George Cross really struggled to make any headway in this first half. Struggled to get out of their own half. Preston with the 2-0 lead thanks to Jonas Markovski and Gian Albano. And Puya Gadiri, our referee tonight, ready to kick us off again. Preston with 1 foot in the round of 32. Would be the first time they've ever qualified for the national stages of the Australia Cup. Georgies have never been there either, but unless they can turn it around tonight, after failing to register a shot in the first half, they will be waiting to make their debut in the round of 32 for at least another year. Josh Parrish here alongside Mark Ivkovic. Ika, what do Georgies need to do differently in the second half? What don't they need to do differently, really? We'll hold that thought as Preston make headway with Jamal Ali! Oh! Instantly, Preston go 3-0 up. And Jamal Ali has his first goal for the club. That's what he did all last season. That's why they brought him here. A fabulous move. An unerring finish to beat Siciliano at his near post. And Preston are cruising.
Well, the second half started how the entire first half went, Josh, and that's just Preston carving this George Cross team up. Great ball by Atakubi over the top. But just, again, far too easy for Preston to just break those lines, get in behind. Not enough desperation by George Cross in the box to allow Ali to run into space like that and be able to get a strike on goal so early into the second half. They'll be disappointed with that. If the night was already getting to the Mission Impossible stage, it definitely is now.
Sian Cuba with another assist. That's 2 for the evening tonight, and he took the corner in the lead up to the Jonas Markovski goal as well. So, creator-in-chief, the number 80 this evening.
He's just got so much space to work with in the middle of the park. That's why he's finding so much joy tonight.
Scott's picked off by Leo Mazzi. And it's a poor cross.
That's better from George Cross, though. A lot more higher up the pitch, applying some pressure to Preston. Again, look at where Morgan Filer is now. He's tracked all the way to Jason Romero. I'm just astonished at the way they've set up defensively tonight, George Cross.
Kubalay. Negro. Atakubi looking to break the line again, but Markovski looked offside and was offside.
George Cross are very, very lucky there. I watched Sian Cooper's movement. He's recognised what they're doing defensively, so he went closer to Maker and then dragged his run back to suck him out of that defensive space to allow Markovski to run into that hole. Just surprised they didn't recognise this at half-time, George Cross.
Some good tactical analysis from you. We need the telestrator out. Markovski pulling Maker into deep water again. Cuba with the return ball. And maybe should have pulled the trigger himself.
Definitely should have pulled the trigger himself there, Sian Cuba.
It's the same pattern again. Centre-back's being dragged out of position. Maker has not had the impact that Eric Vasiliadis would have hoped for in central defence after coming on as the half-time substitute.
Yeah, this Soutsides would have come off. I think he was the one that is suffering the most from the flu, speaking to Vasiliadis before the game.
Back heel from Romero doesn't quite come off. Now Dibb knocked over the top. Bryce wins the chase. He does not look like a player who's just back from a major knee injury.
Hasn't played for 8 weeks, Josh.
That's quite incredible.
Only started training fully last week.
Ali. Preston with another opening. Driven in by Chianchi, and it's too close to the goalkeeper. Spiteri. Rice with the interception. Bit of a waste from George Cross there. They had the numbers.
Yeah, it was the wrong pass. He's Manuel's the 3 Preston defenders around him.
Chianchi trying to take on Mustadanagic. We'll have to check back for Ali. Look at him go. Jamal Ali forward again. Still going Ali. And Morgan Filer, maker, somehow combined to scramble the danger away. He's just electric when he gets going. And this is the first time I think we've seen him recapture some of that Heidelberg form in a Preston shirt.
Yeah, as good as he's been as a central defender for Preston this season, I dare say I don't think we'll be seeing him play that role.
Unless absolutely necessary. Kubale. Chiliano with the clearance. There's Chianchi to swing it in. Filer away from danger.
This was great from Chianchi there. Really good ball into the area.
Preston's cup run hasn't been without its scares. Nana Wadding was a comfortable 4-0 win in round 4. But Keilor Park took them all the way to spot kicks in round 5, and even that game required a 91st minute equaliser from George Mialides, who's now injured. Preston prevailing with 10 men on penalties after Jamal Ali was dismissed. Then another red card against Uni Hill Eagles at home in the last round, but still ran out 2-0 winners. Matt Bozanowski given his marching orders that time, so they've done it the hard way at times. Tonight they're making it look easy. Georgies, for their part, beat South Springvale, Albion Rovers and Williamstown to get this far. All 3 of those games are away from home, so haven't been able to taste home comforts in the Cup.
And all 3 games they were able to play virtually their second string squad.
It's been largely Josh Whiteley who hasn't scored in the league. It's been their leading light in the Cup. He's on the bench tonight. 3 goals to his name. Maybe Eric Vasiliadis will call for him before long. Meanwhile, Romero. And now Albano. Ricochets back to Kubale. It's it into the mix. Romero. Markovski! A bullet into the roof of the net. He's got 2. And Preston surely now are through to the national stages for the first time in the club's history.
Jeez, again, just some really suspect defending from George Cross. A real nothing ball into the area from Kubale. Can make a steps out. Just no pressure at all around Markovski. That's game, set and match for Preston. This looks like it's going to be a really big blowout the way the game's going.
Seems to be his night, Jonas Markovski. He brought off the bench due to injury. Some doubt as to whether he could back up after starting against Oakley on Sunday. Instead, he's delivered the double. tonight has looked more like that player who delivered the golden boot for Altona Magic in 2023 for his A-League and J3 stints. His best moments in a Preston jersey have been very, very good. Jonas Markowski scored 4 in 5 at the back end of the season, including an absolute worldie against Melbourne Victory to win it at home here 1-0. And another semi-promising Georgie's attack is snuffed out. Preston preparing the double change, and maybe it's time to put the cue in the rack and bring off Aiden Bryce, who's come back early from that MCL tear. That's another beautiful pass from Bryce. And now Sion Cuba has options aplenty. Albano goes across goal. He cannot tee up Markowski for the hat-trick.
Cuba should have slid Markowski through there. He was the one that had that forward momentum.
Well, job done for Aiden Bryce. A welcome return to the Preston starting 11. Boy, they have missed him. He's put his body on the line tonight. Heavy strapping on that knee, as you can see. And he makes way for Ethan Pandov, the teenager who made his league debut over the weekend. What a performance from Aiden Bryce. And a great showing for Jonas Markowski, who came off the bench after 12 minutes. He's delivered the brace. He was on a hat-trick. I think he would have liked to stay on, but one eye on Sunday's trip away to face St Albans Dynamo, so he will be spared the final 35 minutes of this game.
What a performance from both of them, really. Jonas Markowski was probably not expecting to get as much game time as he did tonight. 2 goals, and Aiden Bryce, geez, what a return. So comfortable on the ball, even his leadership on that pitch.
Ironically, given how many absentees they have at the moment, this is one of Preston's best performances of the season.
But by a mile, Josh. They've had moments in games where they've looked really good, but never really a complete performance.
Now Leighton Brooks, the substitute, running off the shoulder and mistiming.
When Zoran Markowski came to Preston from Avondale, this is the type of football everyone was expecting Preston to play. It's like I said, you've seen glimpses of it. This is the most energetic I've seen Preston all season.
Well, a change in the front two. Luke Lofts won't get another goal against Preston, despite netting 5 in his last 5 against this club. He goes to the bench. So does again Manuel. So 2 up top with Josh Whiteley and Daniel Cutler. As Georgies make a desperate last roll of the dice. Long one for Whiteley. Handiwork from the Englishman. 14 goals for the club last season in the league. Yet to register in NPL Victoria.
That just about sums up George Cross's night tonight, Josh.
Pandov. Kubalay. Preston play through the Georgies press. Romero with a good take. Slips in Cuba. Albano. Chance for him to add to the score sheets. And the rebound is in from Brooks, but it won't count. Well, the Preston coaching staff enjoyed that at least. Great ball wide from Sian Cuba. Albano checking inside his man. Brooks picking up the scraps, and he was maybe just beyond the last man.
It's a really quick, progressive play from Preston, though. Had the courage to play through that press and got the reward for playing through it.
Almost impossible to tell off the angle on the replay, but it looked very tight for Leighton Brooks. May have been stiff there. Negro. Cuba. Kubalay. Brooks. Again, the interchange and the patterns of passing are right on the money with what Preston have practiced, regardless of execution.
They're enjoying themselves out there, that's for sure.
Nick Dibb not enjoying himself as much on his return to BT Connor Reserve. Did taste success against Preston. He played against them last season. Here's Leo Marzi for George Cross. Well, the cutback was lacking. Dan Cutler with his arms aloft, wondering why it didn't end up at his feet. Nick Dibb did score a worldie against Preston for Port Melbourne Sharks at JL Murphy last season. Missed the return game due to injury. And Port Melbourne Sharks were handily beaten. Albano pokes it through for Romero. Now, Chianchi would have been offside, so they have to go wide to Albano again. Early ball into the box for Brooks. Superb cross, pinpoint header, and Preston have 5.
What a cross from John Albano. Really good ball into the area. And Brooks, too easy.
Just absolutely wide open. It's some ball, but just getting in between the centre halves. And really, I think, is that Morgan Filer there? It's not picking him up.
Even Siciliano's positioning there, just all over the place. Really good work from Albano. Thought he was away there. I thought Romero could have played the ball a little bit earlier and would have been Albano running through on goal.
And now Preston will unveil more changes. I think the substitutes are eager to get in on the act. Tom Foligno and Stefan Zini are ready to come on.
Definitely a night to forget for George Cross, and they've got to pick themselves up very, very quickly. They've got a huge game on Saturday against Green Gully.
Well, after the turmoil of the last couple of weeks, this is proving to be a famous night for Preston. And who knows, maybe a marquee fixture coming to this very venue against A-League opposition.
Jeez. Just, when that draw comes out, I think everyone will be looking to see who Preston gets.
Surely a couple of warm balls in the pot from Football Australia. Melbourne victory.
Jeez, this place would be packed to the brim for that one.
Cuba. Chianchi. Headed back in by Albano. Brooks couldn't get the strike away. See some of the sand kicking up the turf here. It's been emergency works done, or perhaps by chance, to make sure this pitch was playable for tonight after all the rain we've had.
I think they'll be ordering tons of sand for the next home game, Preston. Suited them the pitch tonight.
Yeah, great interchange of passing, sets Jamal Ali away. Chianchi wides. Checks back inside. Ali trying to wriggle free of Maker. And settle for a corner. And an appreciative home crowd gathering behind the Preston goal there.
It's going to be a long 25 minutes for George Cross, because with Preston being so out of form prior to this game, they're not going to take their foot off the pedal. They're just going to keep going for it and get as many goals as they can.
Well, now a couple of the star names will be withdrawn for Preston. Kubalay and Cuba coming off. Sound Cuba thought he was about to take a corner. Instead, he has to go off on the far side. Stefan Zinni and Dom Felino to come on, so there'll be a major reshuffle. Maybe Adekubi back into midfield, I suspect. He gets a lap of honour, Sian Cuba, so not a bad consolation prize. Into the near stick. Brooks off the line. Leighton Brooks nearly had two. We're not used to seeing him such a danger in the air. Usually his bread and butter, but playing in that central striking position, he's got his head on a couple of good crosses. Ali. Picked up by Adekubi. Negro.
Number 11.
Felino. Brooks. Leighton Brooks from distance. Clawed away from the bottom corner by Siciliano. It's almost an attack v defence training drill at the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Josh. It looks like a training session at the moment for Preston, doesn't it?
I feel the weight being lifted off their shoulders.
You've just always got the feeling the last few weeks have just been a mental battle for Preston. You know, once you're down in the dumps and your heads are down.
And swing up into the side netting.
It's hard to shake that rut once you get into it. You know, they hadn't scored for the past 2 weeks and just scraped by in a couple of games before that, a couple of 1-0 wins.
Georgies will make another change. Callum Pickford, who scored twice for them in this cup run. Youngster will come on for Leo Marzi. Hasn't looked at his imperious best tonight.
He worked hard. Marzi probably one of the very few George Cross players that can hold their head up high tonight.
Just hampered a little bit by that early collision he suffered with Ali. Never seemed to move quite as freely after that. Well won by Leighton Brooks. He's moved into a deeper role by the looks of things. Dib. In fact, it's Adekubi back into midfield. Felino playing centre half. A few tempers flaring out there.
When you're 5-0 up, Josh, you can rotate and put players in different positions. Looks like Chianchi's gone central now.
Felino. Oh, Dom Felino. Channeling Aiden Bryce. Great run. Sets Albano down, way down the left, and now Leighton Brooks has his double. Superb flowing move from Preston again. Leighton Brooks off the bench And piling on the goals.
Credit to Leighton Brooks. He got his head down and made that run into the area. Deserved to get a goal there. That work rate, completely unnecessary when you're 5-0 up. Didn't need to show that desperation to get into the box.
He's trying to get back into the team for Sunday, Ivka.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Gut-busting run. That's the work rate you want to see. Good finish. Great ball into the area. Again by Albano. It's a couple of good crosses he's put in tonight.
It's just so similar to the goal they scored with Bryce. Gallivanting forwards from central defence.
Dominic Bryce running through the middle of the park. Really good ball by Felino, though.
That's a decent cross from Albano as well. That's two successful combinations between him and Leighton Brooks. You could have tipped just about any result coming into tonight, and I would have believed you.
Well, we were expecting a lot tighter game coming here tonight.
I was expecting this one to go the distance to extra time and penalties, but Preston have turned it on when they had to. Given away by Siciliano. And now Leighton Brooks looking for the hat-trick! Oh, he wasn't far away.
Jeez. Talk about getting your confidence up.
He's come on with one thing on his mind, and that's goals. Point to prove tonight for Leighton Brooks, even if the game was already won when he came on. Albano.
That's the positive thing for Preston to take out of tonight. You know, all their forward line has been struggling for the past month or so. Virtually nearly for the whole season, they've really struggled to get going.
The lid's come off in one go.
Yep, all of them. Cianci, excellent. Brooks has been great since he's come on. Markovski, good. Albano's been really good as well. Started off a little bit iffy the first 20 minutes, but...
They're just moving the ball around with such fluidity and confidence now against an admittedly demoralised George Cross team. We're pressing hard here. It turns over for Zinni. Now Brooks. Albano gets past Spiteri and slips in Cianci, sends him a little wide. Siciliano got clean purchase on the ball there. Now it's 2v2 for a moment. Cutler offside. A rare opening for George Cross, and Dan Cutler couldn't hold his run.
I think that's probably been the most disappointing thing for George Cross. They just have not looked like even coming close to creating a goal-scoring opportunity. You know, credit to Zoran Markovski. He looked at that team sheet when it came out. A lot of risks taken. Aidan Bryce starting, Jamal Ali at fullback. Definitely paid off.
The attacking selection of Cuba and Romero in midfield as well. Every one of those decisions has come back with a handsome return. Well, now Preston can dare to dream. With big nights under the lights against professional outfits. Never know what the cup might bring.
Not just that, Josh. They're into the semi-finals now of the Dockerty Cup as well. They'll be eyeing that off. How they would love to go to a final in the Dockerty Cup.
They've only won the Dockerty Cup once in their history, Preston. Famous win in 1992 over the old rivals, South Melbourne, on penalties. South Melbourne in the unique position of being out of Dockerty Cup contention, but through to the round of 32, given the rule change, allowing the Australian Championship winners automatic passage. Which means that the unlucky pair of teams still have to confirm their places. It's going to be whoever claims the victory out of Brunswick Juve and Oakley versus Bulleen, who got the job done against GV Suns away in Shepparton last night.
That's currently 1-1 at the moment, Josh. 75 minutes played, Brunswick Juve and Oakley Cannons.
There's a blow up between Negro and Cutler. Game last night, Heidelberg United booking their place in the national stages and semi-finals with a 2-0 win over Bentley Green. Superb goals from Nico Duarte and Jay McGowan. We make a change at the back here. Ottman Benadou on for Morgan Filer. So both central defenders who started the game for George Cross have taken their leave.
Substitution for Caroline Springs. Coming off. Number 8, Nicholas Good. Coming on, number 27, Ottman and Hadu.
Sure, Eric Vasiliadis wishes there was a mercy rule in football.
Yeah, this one's well and truly done and dusted for George Cross. They just have to think about Saturday. Maltese derby against Bentley Greens. Their early season win away in Keilor Downs is one of their most memorable. Now hosting struggling Green Gully in the return fixture. Gully yet to win a game this season. Rooted at the foot of the table. You'd fancy Georgies in that one, but coming off midweek football, heavy legs and demoralised after more copping. Let's see how many goals against Preston. Maybe it just brings an opening for Green Gully. Here's Zinni. Oh, it goes for goal from the angle. Well, everyone wants a goal tonight.
There'll be two teams watching this game tonight with two very different emotions. One will be Green Gully, who will be licking their lips after seeing this. It's going to be tough for George Cross to pick themselves up after a demoralising defeat. The other will be St Albans, who will be not too happy that Preston have turned it on like this.
Yeah, we'll see if it translates to league form, but it does feel like they've got their mojo back. Albano, as he fouls, Pugadirian points to the ball.
That's all it takes sometimes, Josh. It's just one performance, just turn your season around. There's a lot of pressure on Preston coming into tonight. George Cross would have come to BT Connor Reserve tonight, probably feeling that they could win this game. And after what we saw on Sunday afternoon here, they're probably justifiably so.
Caught Preston on the wrong night. Plenty for Georgies to improve on, but this hasn't been the Preston of the last couple of weeks. James Cutler. Pull back a consolation goal. Just to buoy the spirits heading into the derby on Saturday. Spiteri will be coming up against his junior club at City Vista this weekend. Sting for Gully to have let one of their own, a Maltese boy no less, slip through their fingers. Benadou sees his effort picked off. And back by Foligno. Ali. Brooks into the channel. Cianci! Oh, it should have been 7.
Not good enough. That was a great build-up play again by Jamal Ali. Just motoring forward. Great ball across the face again.
Becoming a defender and an extra playmaking midfielder all in one.
Just, giving Zora Markowski a bit of a headache now.
Well, some of the bench players have done so well that you wonder what the selection's going to be on Sunday against Dinamo. But good problems. Of course, there'll be some injury and just workload to manage for these tired players as well. But nothing gives you more energy than a thumping win at home. Zinni. Ali. Hooked away by Maker. Spiteri. Cross to no one in particular. So disjointed things have been going forward for George Cross tonight. Cianci had Maker nipping at his heels there.
The big void in the middle of the park, isn't there?
Moved Mustadanagic more centrally. He's been a very peripheral figure in this game. Cutler the wrong side of Foligno. Gives him the big don't argue. And he'll have a lecture from Puya Gadirian as a result.
I feel for Dom Foligno is probably the one player that might not be enjoying it tonight because of the performance that Jamal Ali's put in at right back. He's been so good this season, Dominic Foligno. It's just been on another planet, Jamal Ali, tonight.
Fairly slapstick sequence as we try and take this free kick. Cutler thought the free kick had already been taken, put the pressure on Foligno, who stabbed it away, knowing that the free kick hadn't been taken, and shrugs his shoulders are all around as Gadirian wonders what on earth these players are up to. Maker at full stretch. Appeals from the Preston bench, but it looks like he got a good piece of the ball there. Siciliano forwards, Pandolf picks it off. Ends up with Brooks. Romero, not on the same wavelength. James. Romero.
How easy it is for Romero to pick that ball up again.
George Cross just haven't been able to punish any of the mistakes in midfield. Preston have had second chances at possession all the time. Oh, here goes Albano. Fans want a penalty.
further reminder to please, at the end of the game, come down to the front of the grandstand for a photo with the team to celebrate the round of 32 achievement in the competition. Again, please come down
It's a
to
bit
the
of
front
pain,
of the
Albano.
grandstand for the final whistle.
He's still down. Foligno in no mood to stop play.
I don't think they even realise that he's still down.
There's a few shouts from the bench, but Preston are playing on. Albano's back on his haunches now. Was that a handball from Whiteley? Came off his foot first anyhow. Cianci. That's a sling tackle. Spiteri. I'm astonished he hasn't been booked for that.
Sympathy from the referee there. He's had a rough night.
I think you get 2 weeks for that at the AFL tribunal. You okay, John, is the question. Doesn't look like it.
Hell, just forgot about him. Hopefully he hasn't injured himself.
Yeah, it would be a real shame if such a positive return to form for John Albano ends in injury. Not requiring treatment, just a bit of that magic H2O from the physio.
They say this will be a direct shot on goal.
Brooks going for the hat-trick. Went for the knuckleball. Knuckled straight into Aidan Mustardinagic's head. More of a knuckle sandwich than a knuckleball in the end. Can we tell it's 6-0? Leighton Brooks to send it wide for Ali. Preston still wants 7. It's Jamal Ali. And that's rather spooned over the byline. But had already gone out of play before Siciliano made contact. Albano will struggle through because they can't replace him.
So still 1-1 between Brunswick Inventors and Oakland Cannons in the 87th minute.
For all Preston fans, at the end of the game, please come down to the front of the grandstand for a photo with the team to celebrate the round of 32 achievement. First time in the club's history. Again, please come down to the front of the grandstand to take a momentous photo.
Tell you what, this fourth official better put up 1 minute of at a time, Josh. No need to.
Don't be taking too many liberties with the added time here.
I've seen some games in the past where it's been done and dusted comprehensively that they just blow the whistle at the 90th minute.
It's one of those unwritten rules.
Yeah.
It's Tyler James, the Georgies captain, struggling with injury, and the night goes from bad to worse. The team from Caroline Springs.
Down to 10, Georgies.
Yeah, looks like it. I believe they've emptied their bench as well, so they'll finish short-handed. Preston with 10.5 with John Albano limping. It looks like he's moving. Well, still pretty gingerly, to be honest. It's a good ball to pick out Zinni. Stefan Zinni stings the fingertips of Siciliano and earns a corner.
Ryan Scott was going to go up for for the corner. So do that in juniors as a keeper. Your team's winning 10-0. Just try and go up for a corner, get on the score sheet too.
Munson Juniors on the wrong end of such a scoreline, and the goalkeeper didn't score, but he was ruled offside, which was somehow worse. Romero's corner. Brooks is in the mix, and it's off the line. Leighton Brooks wants his hat-trick. Will there be time? Albano with the floating delivery. And a backpedaling Siciliano. Doesn't need to make contact in the end. Oh, no need for added time from Pui Gadirian, because this one was done from about the hour mark. Preston are back on the national stages, this time in the Australia Cup, for the first time into the round of 32. A milestone moment for this proud club, who do it in style. Goals galore tonight from a team that had been struggling so badly to trouble opposition defences in the last couple of weeks. This is just the tonic. A return to football and a return to form for Aiden Bryce from that MCL tear. Jonas Markovski with a double off the bench after he was called into action to replace the injured Daniel Lazarevsky. Sian Cuba was creator-in-chief with multiple assists. Albano got in on the act, and Leighton Brooks, the substitute, bags a brace as well. What a night for Preston. George Cross, who were hoping for a piece of history themselves this evening, leave disappointed and have to wait until next year to see if they can break that streak. But Preston, for the first time, go to the Dockerty Cup semi-finals and the Australia Cup national round of 32. Final score at Genesteel Stadium. Preston Lions 6, Caroline Springs George Cross 0. What a performance, Sivka.
Yeah, that's a big reminder to the rest of the league of what Preston is capable of going into this back end of the season. Sensational performance. George Cross, they'll quickly forget about that one and probably wouldn't even review that performance, I dare say. But comprehensive winners and justified, they say, Preston. Great performance.
Preston will celebrate in front of the grandstand with their own supporters as they assemble for the team photo. They can dream now of glamour ties against A-League opposition at this very venue. Georgies, it's back to the drawing board ahead of the Maltese derby on Saturday. Preston travel away to face St Albans Dynamo on Sunday. But a huge turnaround in fortunes for the Preston Lions after a difficult couple of weeks. A perfect night, an emphatic scoreline. Preston Lions 6, George Cross 0.